Now, the second part of this address to Muslims. The first part was basic Iman and Shirk and Amal Saleh, all these things which were very basic. These actually are the subjects which are discussed in detail in the Makki surahs. Here a brief, you may say, survey. But now again to the Muslims, regarding the reformation of the society, the rules of conduct now in the society. وَيَسْتَفْتُونَكَ فِي النِّسَاءِ. In the very first section of this surah, there were some commandments about women, about orphans. But there arose into the minds of the people certain questions and doubts about those things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now explaining. People came to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to ask questions about it. What does it mean? How can we do it? Now these questions. يَسْتَفْتُونَكَ فِي النِّسَاءِ. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they want a pronouncement about women. قُلِ اللَّهُ يُفْتِيكُمْ فِيهِنْ. Tell them Allah is going to pronounce, give you a pronouncement regarding women. وَمَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ فِي يَتَامَى النِّسَاءِ. And what has been already, which is recited to you in the book about the orphan women, Yataman Nisa. In ayah number 3 of this very surah, the mention was there. But people, I told you, the Munkareen Sunnah, who don't take Sunnah to be the exegesis of Quran, to be the authentic or exegesis of Quran, they interpret it in different way. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blocked their way. He has made His commandment absolutely clear. That is the Yataman Nisa, the orphan girls. Allati la tutunahunna ma kutiba lahunna wa targhabuna an tankihuhunna. You want to marry them? They are under your guardianship. You want to marry them? Because they are orphans, you will not have to pay the dowry. And nobody will be there to ask for their rights. La tutuhunna ma kataballahu lahunna. You don't want to pay to them what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fixed for them. Wa targhabuna an tankihuhunna. And you want to marry them. Wal mustad'afina min al-wildan. And the oppressed people among the oppressed ones among the children, وَأَن تَقُومُوا لِلْيَتَامَى بِالْقِسْطِ. And that you should establish justice about orphans. Now it is qama be, an tuqimu lil yatama bil qist. Iqama be, bil qist, with justice. So you have to establish justice. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِهِ عَلِيمًا. And whatever good you do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very well knows it. Don't think it will go in vain or in waste. Now second issue. وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا نُشُوزًا. In the beginning of this surah we discussed, if a husband feels that the wife is becoming disobedient, she is not behaving as she should, then what to do? That was given in the beginning. Now the converse of it. Maybe that a woman thinks that the husband is cruel to him. He is not paying her due attention, for example. After all, she is in wedlock with the person. She is the wife, he is the husband. She has some rights over him, and he is not performing the duties. وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا نُشُوزًا or إِعْرَاضًا. If a woman fears from her husband nushuzan, that is oppression or cruelty, or i'radan, or neglect, ignoring. Now he is ignoring her, not coming to her, not meeting her. So these things, what should you do? فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا أَن يُصْلِحَا بَيْنَهُمَا صُلْحًا. There will be no blame on them if they fix some new terms between them. The woman can say, okay, I let you have part of the dowry that you paid to me. Okay. But live with me in a ma'roof way, in a justifiable way. So actually anything, a new treaty can be made. They can adjust the things between them so that they can live together. And they can live as real wife and husbands, because that is the essence of the family life. وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ. And peace and treaty, this is much better. even if you have to give up something. وَأُحْضِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ. Verily, these inner souls of man, the basic and the baser selves in man, there is, greed in it. Woman will also say, I don't want to forego the part of the dowry that you paid to me, but to make some reconciliation, to make things better, if you can do it, you must do it. وَإِن تُحْسِنُوا وَتَتَّقُوا. But if you adopt a good attitude and you have the regard of Allah, taqwa of Allah, you are God conscious, you are Allah conscious, you have Allah in your mind, tattaqu, and you are trying to save yourself from Allah's displeasure. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرًا. So whatever you are doing, Allah is very well aware of it. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا. Third, because it was said in the beginning, if you want to have more than one wife, you have to do full justice between them. All the things that can be measured or weighed must be given equally. Your time equal. The time you are passing with this wife must be equal to the time you are passing with that wife. The money that you are giving to this wife, the equal sum must be paid to the other wife. The dress, what type of dress you are providing to them, you have to provide here also. All the things that can be weighed and measured. But there is one thing which is not in the control of man, and that is his heart. He might have love for one more than the other, and this is beyond the control of human beings. So that is now made clear here. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ. And it is impossible for you in this respect to do justice to the women, although you might be eager to do that, but you can't do it. فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ. But don't incline towards one absolutely. فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. So as to leave the other one as suspended in between. She is neither married nor with a husband, or neither without a husband. This is muallaq, hanging in between. Don't leave her in suspense. You have gone to one side only, and the other wife is now muallaq. وَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. وَإِن تُصْلِحُوا وَتَتَّقُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. And if you make amendments, amend your ways, and number two, if you have real taqwa, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ever forgiving and ever merciful. وَإِن يَتَفَرَّقَا. Number four, talaq, separation. أَبْغَضُ الْحَلَالِ. There's a hadith, the Prophet said, إِنَّ أَبْغَضَ الْحَلَالِ إِنْدَ اللَّهِ الطَّلَاقُ. The worst among the halal things, the most hated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it is halal. Although it is halal, it is very hateful in the eyes of Allah. أَبْغَضُ الْحَلَالِ إِنْدَ اللَّهِ الطَّلَاقُ. But if a wife and a husband, they are not living properly, they have tried all the means to reconcile to each other, but they have absolutely different temperaments, different priorities. So they are incompatible, so to say, with each other. So now it's no use keeping them together. The house, the family will not have the peace which is required, that love which is required. So actually then it is better to separate. This ayah is encouraging separation and divorce. Please note it. And this is the balance in divine law. Something is very bad, but permissible. And in certain condition, it becomes desirable. You must try your best to maintain this relationship of marriage. But if after all the methods that you have tried of reconciliation, you have failed, then it's better to separate. وَإِن يَتَفَرَّقَا. And if they separate, يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِّن سَعَتِهِ. Allah will provide each one from His abundance. Now maybe that Allah gives this woman a better husband, with whom she can live in a better way. And Allah will provide to this male also, to this husband also, a better wife, which is more compatible in her manners and ways with this person. So that is, إِن يَتَفَرَّقَا. If they decide to separate, يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِّن سَعَتِهِ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ وَاسِعًا حَكِيمًا. And Allah is all accommodating. Allah's treasures, they are not limited. He can produce a better wife for you, provide a better wife for you and a better husband for her. كَانَ اللَّهُ وَاسِعًا عَلِيمًا and حَكِيمًا, and He is all wise. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Again, you must know everything belongs to Him, not to you, not to anybody else. To Allah belongs everything, all the things which are in the heavens or in the earth. وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And we had advised and admonished those also who were given the book before you, O Muslims, وَإِيَّاكُمْ. And we are advising you also, أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, that have taqwa of Allah. You know, all these rules and regulations and do's and don'ts will go in vain if there is no taqwa. Man will play with the rules. This happens. Law, you know, can be made an article of play, a game. But if you have real taqwa, then these instructions will be beneficial. See the wordings. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. We advised them also, and we are advising you also. They were the former Muslim Ummah, and now you are the Muslim Ummah. They were the representatives of Allah on earth, and now you are occupying the same position. So we admonish them also, and we are admonishing you also. أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَإِن تَكْفُرُوا فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now here kufr doesn't mean unbelieving. Here kufr is as opposed to shukr. If you act thanklessly, we have given you this position. If you are not grateful, or if you disregard Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. What harm can you do to Allah by disregarding Him or disregarding His laws and of Sharia? To Him belongs all the things which are in the heavens and in the earth. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَنِيًّا حَمِيدًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is self-sufficient. He needs none, He needs nothing. وَحَمِيدًا. Hamida, He is praiseworthy. He doesn't need any praise, He is the praised one Himself. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. You are seeing how many times these words have been repeated here. لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Don't think that you own something and you have the authority. And if a woman is there in the this wedlock with you, now you can do anything to her that you like. No. You are also bondsman to Allah. You will be held responsible on the day of judgment. If there is any ill treatment from your side to your wives, to the orphans, or to the weaker elements of the society, don't think you will go scot-free. You will have to face the grand accountability of the day of judgment. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَكِيلًا. إِن يَشَاءْ يُذْهِبْكُمْ أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. If Allah pleases, He can finish you, O mankind. وَيَأْتِ بِآخَرِينَ. He can bring another creation. He created you, He can create any other creation. Don't think that the creative activity of Allah has come to an end. Now He cannot create any other creature. Although He has raised you to a very high pinnacle, very high position. Ashraful makhluqat. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. We have given you all that positions. But don't think we can finish with you, all of you, and we can bring another creation. وَإِن يَشَاءْ يُذْهِبْكُمْ أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ وَيَأْتِ بِآخَرِينَ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ قَدِيرًا. Allah is powerful enough to do it. مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ ثَوَابَ الدُّنْيَا فَعِندَ اللَّهِ ثَوَابُ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Very beautiful. Whosoever has decided only to get the reward in this world, woe to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has both the things, the reward of this world also and akhirah also. तू ही नादा चंद कलियों पर कनात कर गया, वरना गुलशन में इलाजे तंगिए दामा भी था. You have limited yourself to this world, the gains of this world, the comforts of this world, the luxuries of this world, the fame of this world.